I don't know if they're afraid or not. Sometimes I wonder, I think, Alex, you've used the word endgame before, and so some of these folks think that it's a game. They're a little bit unconscious, I think, and they're not making decisions as if they're living in the real world with the rest of us. So I don't know really what they think.
Well, that is what Rove said. He said, we are history's actors. We control reality. And, you know, he told the press corps this and said, and we'll just change reality one day and we'll change it again and then you'll respond accordingly. Well, I got news for Karl Rove. I'm not going to go along with your phony reality, buddy.
All right. Reality is what it is, and it's our opportunity to find out what that is on our own. And Karl Rove doesn't make reality. I'm sure of that.
Well, I mean, look at Israel. They got repulsed in Lebanon, and now they're in Gaza, and I'm not getting in, debate here about whose side. My point is that look at Napoleon, look at Hitler. The hubris comes to an end. The problem is a lot of times it crushes little people in the process. I want to come back, and I'll keep you 5 minutes after in the next hour if we can, so we can take a few calls. Are you game to do that? Stay another 15 minutes total, sir?
Sure.
Okay,
absolutely.
We'll have you till 5 after next hour. We're going to come back and go to Betty, Don, Dan, and a few others, specifically for Kevin Ryan. He's an engineer. He saw their internal reports about the towers. He tried to go public, and they fired him. Well, thanks to this hero, we're very close to identifying those who were involved in the master planning of the 9/11 attacks. The investigation continues. Stay with us. Any other points you haven't added? Any other key information that we haven't gone over here with the audience today?
I just wanted to remind people that the nanothermite theory is only part of the demolition theory, and that the World Trade Center is only part of the 9/11 truth movement. So there's a great deal of information people need to continue to investigate, and there's a lot of good books and movies out there that help us with that.
Well, it's classic Black Ops to have different teams, different operations, overkill. They certainly had multiple types of explosives in the towers. They did both the operations unconventionally, but 7 is closer, correct? I mean, as an engineer, sir, closer to a classical?
Yeah, it's definitely, it looks very much like a classic demolition. So it was done differently, I would be sure of that, and we need to just get to whatever clues we can find. So when I'm looking at the intersection of people involved and people who had access to technologies and the buildings and nanothermite residues, we're looking for clues, and we're going to dig those out and expose them as much as possible and then move on.
Well, I think the bigger issue here is, too, psychology. People don't understand a military mind, a commander-level mind. We're going back thousands of years ago. A general would put 500 of his cavalry or his ground troops to be captured to bring an enemy in so they could then destroy the larger force, knowing that the pawn sacrifice would be killed. And, that's how back in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, they had operations like SHAD and others where they would nerve gas our own troops to death. And they found a group of doctors who would do that because they believed the end justifies the means. And so out of that mindset, they've created military cadres that will do this. Well, America needs to get tough, and we need to stage a terror attack to get the people straight. I'm sad we got to kill 3,000, but it's for America. It's for Israel. And, that's really how you get this type of thing going on. They'd tell them, we got to nerve gas our own troops because the Russians may use it, and the knowledge we gain here may save millions. And so they'd kill our own troops. But really the test was about creating cadres of Army doctors that would do this type of crap. So let's go to the calls here. Betty in Wisconsin. Betty, you are on the air. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, Betty.
Yeah, hi. Thanks for Alex Jones show and InfoWars and Prison Planet for being there. I got myself a subscription for Christmas. My question is, I'm reading this on the website for Kevin Ryan, a former UL manager, was fired for publicly questioning the NIST report? What was that NIST report?
Well, that's what we've been talking about, is this baloney report put out by explosive thermate experts from the Defense Department. Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, the NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, so it's a government agency that reports through the Commerce Department. Therefore, its directors are Bush appointees or presidential appointees, and they work directly for the president in that sense. But they are a repository for standards. They do investigations in scientific ways of building failures and many other things.
When Congress gets involved, nothing much happens.
Yeah, well, Congress had a better investigation of 9/11. Then they had the Whitewash Commission appointed by Bush, and they had the nerve to say when they first had Henry Kissinger that it was independent. Your comments on the independent commission, Kevin?
Yeah, I think that the 9/11 Commission is a great thing to look into. Who are these people? I know one of them, James R. Thompson, is the former governor of Illinois. We know how honest the government in Illinois has been. But he was also the chairman of the law firm that UL hired to defend themselves in my lawsuit against them. That was interesting. There are other people like John Lehman who owned an explosives company in the late 90s. So I'm interested in a lot of these people.
Oh, very nice people. Stay there. We'll be right back in 70 seconds. Don in Texas. You're on the air with a real American hero. That's right. It's not some football player, though that's enjoyable and fun to watch. This is a real hero, risking his life, his name, losing his job to blow the whistle on the 9/11 inside job. Kevin Ryan. Don from Texas, you're on the air with Kevin Ryan.
Yeah, Kevin, Alex, God bless and keep you both for what you're doing. I saw the Trade Center collapse live on television, knew it for what it was by virtue of my military training in demolitions. And, Kevin, you just asked what we can do as individuals. You know, and you and Alex, you're doing it. We're all called to be therapeutic messengers, and we have the individual power to visualize at a cellular level and resonate what we know to be truth beyond technological means.
Well, we've just got to get the word out, period. And there is that whole 100th monkey that's been proven scientifically where you'll have a research island with monkeys, and as soon as a few of them learn it on this island, they spontaneously pick it up 20 miles away. But, you know, regardless, we're physically getting the info out, and I appreciate your calls. Don, Dan in New York, a final call for Kevin Ryan. Go ahead.
Hey, Alex, I was wondering what would be the reasoning for the 9/11 attacks? Like, what were they planning? I know one of them is imperialization of the Middle East. But
actually, Zbigniew Brzezinski in the Grand Chessboard in 97 that was then plagiarized by the PNAC document, September 20th, 2000, Rebuilding America's Defenses, penned by Dick Cheney and Donald Rumsfeld. They're attributed to writing it on their own website, says trillions in no-bid weapons contracts, trillions in oil, unifying the people behind a Pax Americana or global empire. There's got to be an outside threat on the order of Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor killed 2,890-something people. So did 9/11. Coincidence? And then we have all these other government documents like Northwoods where they explain we stage terror attacks, we blame it on foreign enemies as a pretext to take control of society, even declare martial law in America. Kevin Ryan, comments?
Yeah, I think you're right, Alex, and I think we just have to recognize, although it's difficult to believe, that there are people whose greed and whose thirst for power is just more than anything that they can deal with, and that they ended up just destroying everyone else around them. So that appears to be part of the situation with 9/11.
Yeah, they have a raw thirst for power, the raw exercise of power, and we have to have a desire and a thirst for justice. And that's what I have. That's what Kevin Ryan has. And again, Kevin, I'm telling you, people like you are my heroes, man. You are such a hero to my whole family and to millions of people out there listening. I just salute you.
Hey, back at you, Alex. Keep up the good work.
Well, if it wasn't for people like you, I mean, they would have already staged more terror attacks, and you do shake them up, buddy. I mean, they expected us to buy their whole fable, and people haven't, and we're going to get them in the end. Anything else there, Dan?
What rights do you think Barack Obama is going to attack? I know one of them is going to be the Second Amendment, but what other rights?
It's going to be the whole same agenda. More wars, police state. Look, Bush just passes the baton. Right now, they're passing the baton. He's a puppet. Kevin, you want to comment on that?
Well, I would guess that Barack and his administration, Senator Obama, is probably not going to be much different than Senator McCain or Senator Biden or the Bush family. They're largely, I think, the same people. They appear to be nominating the same types of people as have been in power before.
Well,
so,
exactly.
I don't, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I don't expect much change from the path we're on unless we take charge of it ourselves.
I mean, exactly. Congress has been physically threatened with martial law. Senator Inhofe, 2 other congressmen we talked to, on record. Bloomberg reports we're under war powers. Federal Reserve. I mean, if they're telling Congress they don't run anything, you better believe the president's been told he's a puppet. That's why he was chosen. He's like a front man, a CEO. He's definitely a fellow traveler. Kevin Ryan, thank you so much for all you've done. We'll check out the websites and your great info.
Thank you.
There he goes. Have a good New Year.
The United States is back.